The market is once again correcting or ranging, depending on how you look at it, with many calling for an end to the bull market, a new bear market. It's all over. Wrap it up and go home. So, is this really a top, or is it maybe an opportunity in a bull market to acquire some more coins before the market rips to the upside? I generally lean towards the latter. Curious to hear what Wick has to say. It's been a couple weeks because of my travel schedule. So excited to be back today with Trading Alpha and with my friend Wick. Let's go, guys.
Let's go.
What is up, everybody? I'm Scott Melker, also known as the Wolf of All Streets. Before we get started, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button. Going to get Wick up here right now and try to figure out what the hell is going on. We have don't miss these top altcoins with massive potential. I think the producer came up with that this morning, and then the market did its thing.
I'm so glad to be back, Scott. It's glad to be here, and yeah, we had a little bit of a correction, and I can just tell you from now we can dive into it, but I'm not that worried, man. I think this is just pretty much what we usually see around the halving. So let's jump into it. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, you're up.
Okay, let's get to it. Okay, so as you guys know, if you've been following this channel, this is the Trading Alpha indicators. We'll go over that in a minute, but let's talk about Bitcoin here. Okay, this has got everybody worried. Everyone thinks that the cycle is ending, and this is exactly how everyone is supposed to feel at the stage of the cycle. So we are at the halving, and let me give you my base case for me thinking that this is not over. This is exactly how we should be feeling at this stage. It's exactly what the price action should be doing, and history tells us that. So we just got to believe it and stop trying to psych ourselves out, in my honest opinion. So we can see what's happening. We had all this down here, but as you can notice, the dots have stayed green on Bitcoin, and Bitcoin was my base case for following the dots, just like you had the previous cycle. I kind of look at Bitcoin akin to when you know, for those of you that come from TradeFi, you have the stock market, you have the S&P 500, and as long as that's going up or that's doing well, it tends to lift all boats, right? So that's what you kind of study when you're looking at the market. Now let's look back and see what happened at previous halving cycles, okay? So first here, you can see here, I identify them with these vertical bars over here. So this was the previous halving here in 20. And you can see what happened is we had this big swing from the lows to the halving. And then after that, it wasn't a sell the news event, but it did dip, and it was a non-event, right? And the halvings for months. I think it was 3 months, I think. Yep, exactly.
Yeah. Through the summer. Yep.
Through the summer. And I think, you know, that's what you get at all these halvings. Is it's a big lead up to the event. Everyone gets excited, and then it does what Bitcoin is exactly supposed to do. It makes you kind of doubt yourself, right? So it did that here at this halving, but this isn't the halving that I'm kind of framing my or basing my framework on. If you go though to the previous halving, okay, and you're going to see I've outlined it already, but if you go to 2016, this was the halving here. Same thing happened. From the lows, we swung up about 350%. And then what happened? It was 100% sell the news event. I mean, this is dropping from 760 all the way down to 500, and even lower after that. It formed a bottom around 480, okay? So this was a sell the news event. And for those of you watching, I bet you could kind of relate to how these people were feeling back then. They were feeling like the market was over. There was no cycle happening. There was no bull market. It was done for. And then look what happened just a couple months later. We started the actual main run of the entire cycle, that 2017 cycle. And I mean, people would have never expected this, okay? So now just look at this price action here that we had, okay? And let's compare it to where we are currently, because it's of my belief that I think that we've simply just front run this drawdown. And you can see that this was the low in the cycle. And I'm believing that we put in that low this past week.
We just had 2 candles that look exactly like that in the past 2 weeks. So, yeah.
Yep. So let's go back. And so here you go. Okay, so those 2 candles that Scott's talking about, I believe that those were these two candles. And I've had this level up here for quite a while. And this is what Bitcoin tends to do. It doesn't just retest it, right? It has to be volatile and kind of just do a deviation into your zone. So it is, of my opinion, and I could be wrong, it's not financial advice, but I do think that this was a gift. I think it was a gift. And I think that at least what I was doing was I was looking at the top alts that I like, to looking where I can add positions to those alts. So I took some profit off the table and just a little bit in Bitcoin. I'm talking about 25%, and I got to adding somewhere else. Okay, so that's my framework, Scott.
I know where you added, because I did the same thing today.
Well,
I bought some Salana today. I'm just going to say that. Did
you? Well, I guess someone else also bought Salana that you're talking to, because that's exactly what I did. And
yeah,
so let's
148.66 or something, like 149 around there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, if I'm right, if we're right, and this thing does take off, Solana is going to be the one that has the most relative strength, and it's probably got the best risk versus reward profile in terms of reward and risk. And if you look at the monthly chart on Solana, this to me looks like a beautiful start to a cup and handle. Okay, could be wrong, but that's kind of what it's looking like to me. And we did get this squeeze shading that kind of starts these macro trends, especially on the monthly charts. Okay, so that was my base case. And yes, when Solana got down a little bit lower than it is, I did buy Solana about right here. I didn't catch the lows, but I wasn't trying to catch the lows. I was just trying to get in somewhere and average in. And yes, so that's my base case, and that's exactly how I played this move.
So listen, if we think that, hey, maybe I should ask, what would invalidate this in your mind? Well, is it like starting, for me, it's kind of like starting to have a lot of price action below 60 on Bitcoin.
Yeah, so if we're talking about invalidation, then you're exactly right. I'm not going to look at Solana or any of those things. I don't think that anything systemic is changing with our top picks. I think we flip back right to Bitcoin. And again, I'm looking at this zone right here, right? If we close below my support zone, okay, generally that's a really bad sign. And I also do think, for those of you that are watching, that are in the Discord, that are familiar with our stages, this is a classic stage 3 basing pattern. Okay, so you've gone from your stage 1 here, basing, stage 2 uptrend, stage 3 basing. It goes from stage 3 to stage 2 in these bull markets. Stage 3 basing, squeeze breakout. We got the shading area to let you know a big move is coming. Breakout to the upside. This is continuation stage 2. Okay, now I believe we're forming another base, just a little bit more volatile than this. That's the stage 3 base right here. We have a stage 3 here. So I wouldn't be surprised. Okay, so I'm calling this the bottom in my opinion. Okay, but I wouldn't be surprised if we base longer and maybe even put in a double bottom just a little bit higher than this low. That would be very healthy to me. And if we based for another 3 months based upon previous price action of the halvings, I wouldn't be too scared. But it's meant to make you doubt the situation. That's what it's supposed to
be. Time-based capitulation, right? People just get bored, they panic, it doesn't go up every single day, they get chopped up in the range, and then when enough of them are out, the market goes up again. And then you look back and you go, oh, it was just another 4-year cycle. Of course it went up in October, right?
Isn't it crazy though? You can look at these 4-year cycles and it really is that easy, but we complicate it so much because everyone has so many different varying opinions. And then of course we had that scare with the macro event with the World War III that almost broke out, in my opinion. So that's the only variable. But besides that, nothing fundamental or systemically has changed in the crypto cycle, in the business cycle, in the halving, or the price action leading around the halving. So for myself, I'm taking a step back, pulling my emotions in, and keeping course.
Yeah, totally agree. So I see you got quite a few other ones up there. So that means you're not scared.
Yeah, no, I'm not scared. and these are a few ones also. This is some of the ones I picked, but also some of the ones that you all posted on the requests on Scott's post. So let's start with Pepe. Okay, because Pepe's been breaking out, right? So I like this. So let's start from here. You guys know what I look for on these stage 1 basing patterns when it's going sideways. I do look for that squeeze shading, just like we had on Bitcoin on both cycles right here before the breakout arrow, and it starts that parabolic move. Whenever you see these squeeze shadings, guys, and we get that breakout arrow, especially on Bitcoin, when we're at this juncture of the bull market, I mean, you better pay attention because those are the money makers. And again, Pepe rocked with a stage 2 uptrend, but this starts to kind of worry me, right? This goes into your stage 3 basing pattern, okay? And then we did get squeeze shading again and also started to print red dots. This should have told you to start paying attention and possibly even take a little bit off the table because you could buy possibly with a lower cost basis. And what do we get? We did get a breakout arrow to the downside and the bar started turning red as well. So we have the micro trend dots, the macro trend bars for your trend, a total synergistic trend look. And then we broke down even lower, right? So this is stage 4. Then we formed another short basing pattern. I mean, guys, this is how it is. Short basing pattern, waiting for that stage 2 breakouts. And there you go, green dot above the track line. And Pepe is trying to keep up with the market. And if the market picks up back again, expect Pepe to probably outperform because it is showing relative strength.
Memes, man. Memes.
Yeah. Hey man, whatever does it in this crypto cycle, that and NFTs next, probably if you rocked a little bit higher. So let's move on to Link here. So this was one that somebody asked me for. This is one of the chart requests. So let's kind of look at Link, and I'll be honest, I'm not as bullish on Link. We did go through a stage 1 basing pattern over here. You can see I labeled it long ago, broke out into stage 2 part 1, and then this is your stage 2 part 2 where it starts to go parabolic, retest, goes higher. But I'll tell you what, Scott, I don't want to say this, but this is kind of looking funky to me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
It's interesting because Link, I mean, it's one of the actually like fundamentally strong projects that is needed in crypto. Like,
I love Link. It's yep. The Oracle. I mean, I got a buddy that works pretty high up in Link. So yeah, I don't want it to fail either, but a pattern is a pattern, and you know, it hasn't confirmed yet. So it's not a head and shoulders, but man, it sure is getting close to that. And as you can see, the track line is also turning red to yellow. We're going from green dots, green bars to starting having periodic red dots. So this is starting to look like a little trouble for me. And unless we can break above this resistance here, for anyone who posted Link in your comments, I certainly wouldn't be catching longs until we cleared this pattern and delineated this pattern.
Sounds good. Yeah. So what's got next?
Moving on to Near. Near is one that's also been outperforming so well. So as you can see here, right, we go through our bear market. You got red dots, red bars, everything's red. We fall below the track line, and then we start basing while printing these Bs. This is one of my favorite setups in all our indicators. So when you get these Bs, what you're looking for is you're looking for green dots to go above the track line, right? That's your confirmation that the bottom is in. We've had a basing, and here is stage 2, baby, just like we have on all our setups. And what's interesting to me, Scott, is that a lot of the alts have lost their dots, right, in this, which is okay because it's a higher beta, it's a higher volatility. But Nears actually showed such good relative strength that it's kept the green dots through the whole cycle, just like Bitcoin. So again, if this market picks up, I think that Nears is going to be an outperformer. I definitely think people should consider it and study the price action if we do end up breaking higher anytime soon.
Yeah, it looks really good. Crazy that it's kept those dots the entire time. It effectively makes it the strongest that you can find next to Bitcoin when you look at it.
I do. And I'll tell you what, whenever this thing breaks above, whenever it closes above here, that's time to rock and roll. That's going to be your next setup, in my opinion. Okay. Or what you do get, and we've talked about this before, is anytime you have a correction and it pulls down to the track line, bounces off the track line with a green dot, that is a setup in itself. And we go over this in our docs guide, in our instructional. So this was actually a setup, and you can see that it's much higher since then. So always look for these setups. If you do have our tools, any reaction off a green track line with a green dot is a go money sign. Look, it's not for sure, but it's definitely high probability, and then I'll stand behind. Moving on to Salana. Oh, well, we've actually talked about Salana, but I'll talk about it again. I'm hoping this is a cup and handle, and as Scott and I've gone over, we've both already added to our bags in this dip, so that says it all, right? Yeah, oops. So moving on, the next coin, Coinbase. I really like this chart as well. But on the daily chart, right, if you are swing trading, I like it on an investment perspective. But if you're swing trading, I mean, it couldn't have got more easier, right? You get these green breakout arrows for stage 2, the green dots stop, they go red. You take your profit here, you miss all of this. All of a sudden, you get shading again, letting you know that an extreme move is coming. Breakout arrow. I mean, this is just cheat codes. It pulls up, comes down, tests the track line with green dot reaction is your next setup again, stage 2. But now this is starting to look a bit funky. You can see how it's gone now from green. Everything's green with a micro trend dots, macro trend bars. But now you're starting to get funky and you're starting to go above and below the track line, right, with red dots. And you're losing the green dots completely. So now that it's below the track line has turned yellow. You can see that I'm taking much caution here. And I definitely don't want to do anything until we get some green dots and again above the track line before I start considering coin. And this was one of the assets that people asked me to chart.
Yeah. I have it as a long-term investment. I haven't been really charting it, but yeah, that's not great.
Yeah, no, for long term, I mean, it's a great investment. I mean,
it's again.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I believe in Coinbase. I think it's going to be much higher by end of year. Lastly, let's talk about Ethereum. Okay, so this is on the daily charts. And again, guys, if you're following me, if you've listened to my previous videos, or if you haven't listened to them, a daily chart to me means you're taking swing trades. That means the trades that you're opening are lasting days to months. I would say 3 months is the maximum that you look to hold these trades. Of course, if it's holding green dots and they're not losing the green dots and you're at month 4, then obviously keep it. But that's the general time frame when you're looking at daily, or at least when I'm posting a daily or weekly chart on my page. Okay, but you can see that after this, the green starts fading. We start getting red dots. You start losing the green dots here, red dots. This is where, in fact, I think I actually posted about this. You take a little profit off the table. You see red dots. You finally see bottoming signals. But look at this. It was never able to break above the track line, and the track line never turned green. Okay, so this is one of the times where, yeah, you did get movement off the B, but since it couldn't do the track line, got rejected. This is not looking too hot at the moment. I definitely wouldn't be adding here. I think ETH is going to perform this cycle, but I think you stay a little bit patient on this one.
So disappointing. I said that to Chris this morning. We're like, we're all ETH bulls, and listen, when everyone finally doubts it, who's been bullish for a year, it's going to skyrocket. Won't be.
That's exactly what I think is going to happen, right? When everything kind of froths and there's froth in the market and it comes down a little bit, you're going to see this thing just keep going up, in my honest opinion. And yeah, I haven't sold much of my position on ETH. I'll be honest. I'm keeping that bag, and yeah, we'll see what happens.
I think it's a bull market, so I'm not trying to get shaken out in the chop, so.
Yeah, I honestly believe, Scott, that come June, July, this market's going to rip a lot higher. And that kind of goes with the framework of looking at Bitcoin, another 2-3 months of basing, most likely. I mean, I'm sure it's not going to rhyme 100%, but you guys should definitely take comfort in the fact that it has rhymed so far. And if we're going according to that framework, we just need to be a little bit patient before we start going up only again.
Important question, because we didn't even say it. Can someone share what kind of indicator is being shown here with these lines and dots? You want to take that one?
Yes, absolutely. So if you like these indicators and you want them, you want to know where to get them, please go into the comment section right there of the YouTube video. You can see that this is by Trading Alpha. It is my company. And we are offering a 25% discount sale on this. And I can't really stretch how good of a value this is, because the indicators are so good, but also because when you get the yearly alpha bundle, which is what this is, you get access to my VIP Discord. And for instance, when we were at just below, I think 70,000, I went on there and I do streams, and I let everyone know that a big event is coming. I think this is where you take some profit off the table and we can see some lower pricing. I literally called this move, but it was only to those in the Discord. And this morning, I'll tell you what, there's something I'm not sharing with Scott that I saw on Salana on the weekly charts, and I shared with everyone in there, and it's very, very interesting. So just to kind of circle back, the alpha bundle on the yearly plan, you get the indicators and the VIP. And right now, if you go and check out, while you're checking out, if you type in 25 off in the code section, it'll drop it by 25%. I think it's a steal.
Please type it in, though, because if you miss it and then you don't type it in, then you bother him and there's nothing he can do. So come on, man.
Yeah, I think at this point, Scott, I mean, there's a lot of people coming in and getting the indicators. I think I'm going to make this this statement. I'm going to say that if you don't enter the 25 off, at this point, we're so backed up, I don't think we're going to be able to help you and discount that. So please, guys, if you're going to get it, remember to enter that 25 off, and don't purchase until you get that discount.
I mean, you guys saw, I did a charting show on Monday, and I used it the entire time. I forgot to even mention what it was. It's become my natural go-to way of charting. And like I said, it took you a long time to convince me. but I've seen it enough. It's all there. It's amazing. I don't know what weird black magic you did, but it works. So
yeah, it's just putting TA together, man. Just putting all the TA together. And I think that's also what lets us stand out from the other kind of indicators, is that other indicators will just have, let's say, trending indicators, and they're not nearly as good as ours. But what ours do is we marry not only trending indicators, but also volatility indicators, as you can see here. And we also have other things like the reversal bars, which are mean reversion. We really, I think I've never seen another service marry all the parts of TA together to make a system like we have. So I'm very proud of it, and I don't mind pushing it at all.
Love it, man. Perfect. Well, guys, we did it. 352. Let's see what the market gives us, but I think we're both of the opinion it's just sideways chop, and it's going to go up.
Agreed.
I think we really need to decide and agree on. Also, man, I'm so glad that we're back. Guys, once again, check out Trading Alpha if you're actually trading this market. It works. That's all I can say. It works.
And also, if you want to give me a follow, guys, I do put a lot of alpha on my page. That's #0hedge_ on Twitter if you want to catch me.
It's right there. 0hedge_ on Twitter. One day I'm going to get you to show your face.
He's been asking me for the past year, and I've gotten close. Guys. He's asked me to dox myself. Yeah, I'll tell you what, if enough people ask, I'll consider it again. So blow Scott up on his comments. Yep.
All right, man. Thank you, guys. We'll see you next week. And of course, I'll be back tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bye. Thanks, Wick, man. Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Bye, guys.